Hello everyone, this is Retrokid Reviews, about to do a never thought I actually get it review of the Marvel Legends Japanese Spider-Man. But before we get to that, I just want to do a quick thing real quick. Seriously guys, it will not take that long. Just gonna put that right there. So with that out of the way, let's get to the figure itself. More specifically, what is it, this figure? I just forgot to put some other previous Spider-Man releases that I got, so my apologies there. But for what I noticed for this emissary of hell himself is that he is very much a pinless jointed figure. We'll get to the packaging in a minute. Yeah, because it's actually pretty unique this time around. Yes, I'm very much aware that not just Hasbro in general with Marvel Legends, but a bunch of other lines are going to be going without the plastic window anymore. But from what I want to gather, since we're here talking about the packaging, it's actually not bad. It's pretty unique, mainly with the Japanese lettering, of course, with Spider-Man's name. In this particular case, the Iron Cross demolishing badass himself. Yes, I actually skimmed a little bit of the wiki. I do actually have a playlist for the actual show itself, in case anyone wants to see an English card there. And, yeah, this is mostly the accessories for that. And one other thing Toku-related-wise I want to talk about before we get to the actual figure itself is Toku Topics. He actually got around to getting this figure early. I think he's one of the few new Toku tubers I'm following. So to him, hey, how are you? And more importantly, he's gotten under the gun a little bit by getting a new Megazord exclusive Lightning Collection figure that has something to do with, I don't know, NFTs, because it was the gold version of Mighty Morphin, because of course it was. So here on the channel, I just want to say no fucking thanks to NFTs, because yes, it is a dumb business strategy, and if anyone tells you differently, yeah, Web 3.0 is not really a thing yet, and probably not for a while. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it. So with that being said, back to the packaging. This is basically what you get, but another reason why I kept it mostly intact is, one, to show off that this is the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. So there will be a lot of other stuff that I'll be probably mentioning. The only figure that I am mentioning that I want to get from, or actually few, I'll try to get from the 60th anniversary line, is the Renew Your Vows, Peter and Mary Jane, and obviously the Iron Spider from the first comic version of Marvel Civil War. I know that has been a little bit scrutiny with. I think Shartimus Prime did a quick review of that. If not, he probably reviewed this whole wave in general. So this is the accessories, and this is basically where you're getting not only the this figure's accessories, but how I'm going to assume most Marvel Legends figures are going to be going forward. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this type of style of webbing. I know most Marvel Legends collectors will say this is a pretty cheap equivalent, but this is my first time with webbing in general with my Marvel Legends Spider-Man figure, so it'd be pretty cool. However, I will say the lasso rope, this is gonna be my first time using any of these accessories, by the way, is a little old style for them, if anything. It makes a lot of sense for ironically this particular spider to use, because again, he's mostly all morpher, no web shooter, if you get what I mean. So basically, let's get to the figure itself since we are here. He looks pretty accurate. I know my camera and my history of cameras don't really have a good history of showing off this much of a figure, despite however quality it is. However, sculpting wise, in person and so far on my 4K, it looks the most well, in this case, show accurate to Spider-Man himself in this particular case. Yeah, the thing I'm most noticing with the articulation is, of course, like I said earlier, that most of the pinless joints are very nowhere near on this figure. I think I don't know if Astronomer's Prime or other collectors have already talked about this, but they think this is a new sculpt with like some extra steps. I don't know exactly. I do know you have a double jointed knee on both sides of the figure, and I have a terrible track record of doing. Oh wait, never mind. Yep, that is your double jointed knee, and oh wow, and much like every other Spider-Man figure, they will loosen up eventually. So, despite how I want to say not brittle, but stiff. The Japanese Spider-Man figure is getting so far. Yeah, no butterfly joints, which would be very helpful because there is a pose, if I could get it from the old marketing material they did back when the show was new. Hang on, my apologies. Yeah, that style is basically how he summons his Megazord. Yes, this guy had a Megazord. It was called the Leperon, turned into, yeah, Marveler and stuff. It's very late 70s show era for my tokusatsu audience. Yeah, so again, as far as hands go, you're not really getting much. You're mostly getting the standard fists and stuff like that. It would be interesting to see how this Spider-Man or Spider-Man in this particular case would be using traditional web shooting hands and stuff like that. It would be pretty interesting to see him use like traditional comic poses with this particular style of costume. I know it's sculpted in figure terms, but yeah. Lastly, there isn't really much you could do bending wise to give him more, I guess, pronouncer crouch, or for most, like I said in my Instagram post for those who follow my Instagram, that I'm going to try my best in the coming months to try to recreate as much of the obvious memes we can get. However, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be doing the weird, out of context him just start blasting guys with any at all weapons I have here, mainly because what I just noticed is that it only has the usual fist hands. That's not bad if you're going to be using his I think only pose in the original show that they can pull off with a Marvel Legends sculpt. Ultimately, I will say this is actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be at a $40 price tag, given how I would assume very not taxing, but high profile this particular Spider-Man was getting, if you're going to be talking with Toei in general. However, I will say for once my local comic shop actually is within theme with the coloring and the packaging. I just want to do a quick shout out there for World Collectibles on that one. Ultimately, yes, this figure is a mixed bag, I will admit. But however, if you are a fan of Tokusatsu and you are a fan of Marvel like myself, and you want the best of both worlds, this is the cheapest you can get. I know there are probably more expensive versions. I think SH Figuarts already did a Japanese Spider-Man, I think a year or two ago. And with that said, honestly, as a figure, 7 out of 10. I'm mainly mixed, but I see where you're getting at. However, if you want to know more about this character, I highly recommend that came out during the pandemic. The Marvel 616 documentary on this particular version of Spider-Man. It is very nice. They get the whole cast and crew. They even got the original showrunner at the time helping out, explaining how this whole story went out. So again, I highly recommend the Marvel 616 doc. If you want more details that talked about that and the doc, I highly recommend Mr. Sunday Movies video covering Japanese Spider-Man. Again, like I said, there are a lot more people other than myself who've already talked about this. Please look at your, I guess, local YouTuber to find your own info on Japanese Spider-Man story-wise. It is bonkers, I'm gonna be honest, but it's early show era, like, Tokusatsu. It comes with the territory, of anything. I'm happy for this purchase, if anything. I'm happy for this release. I do know that it ends mostly, yeah, the sculpt is not bad. I'm just realizing that it has a decent ab crunch. Nothing really crazy. Head sculpt's fine. I would have liked if it was more or less like the Lightning Collection. My apologies real quick, guys. So, yeah, if it was more like the Lightning Collection, I would have not mind, like, an altered head sculpt for this particular Spider-Man's character. Again, I haven't seen the full show, so I'll know more details as time goes on. Like I said, the playlist I found will also be in the description down below. And, yeah, side by side, you can definitely see a stark difference with the pinless joint with pins. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. For anybody who's going to be doing photo shoots with this particular figure, he pairs very well with a lot of Tokusatsu figures that you may or may not have. If you're doing a Lightning Collection Power Rangers wise, he will definitely pair well fantastically. Speaking of the Lightning Collection, I do want to try to get a Megazord. No, not the NFT one that I mentioned earlier with Toku Topics, but I do want to get the figure-sized version of the Megazords, because there are a lot that is very interesting. I think there was a non/slash semi-exclusive pre-Sentai, I want to say Ninja Storm Zord. The name escapes me. I'll leave it down below if I can find it in time. Ultimately, should you get this figure, if you're a hardcore completionist for your your Spider-Man collection, it's a nice oddity. It's a good talking point, if anything else. If you're a Tokusatsu fan, please do so. They went out of their way, forgot to mention this in the articulation section, but they actually did a good amount of tempoing with the lettering with his morphing brace. It is a roller. That's what I'm going to be calling a floating, I guess, bracer accessories, wrist-wise. Other than that, it's not bad. It's pretty secure. I haven't really loosened it up yet or anything like that. As a Marvel Legends Spider-Man figure itself, yeah, it's too stiff. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know that a lot of people weren't really too jazzed about his articulation on the ankle end, and there's not really much you can really do legs-wise, but it's understandable if anything. I'm not too jazzed for every single cardboard only release Marvel Legends figures, mainly because I do miss the windowing to prove that, hey, there's a figure in there. Another thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about this packaging is that basically they will be like padding it with like cardboard and stuff instead of with plastic, just to, you know, I guess for security reasons. It is pretty weird to have what is essentially Chinese food packaging with your accessories, if you do get accessories for future releases, but it is what it is, and I kind of see where they're going to be going forward company-wise. However, it is bio-friendly. It's the closest to being recyclable they're going to be for a while, so I take it with a grain of salt, if anything. So ultimately, like I said, it's a 7 out of 10 release and totally worth it, in my opinion. Controversial takes aside, what did you think of the actual, my long overdue, rando Japanese Spider-Man figure that I'm totally not doing a Marvel review just in time before, Black Panther Wakanda Forever? Yes, I will get around to watching that, and yes, I will be getting around to other stuff, hopefully later this week, like my thoughts on Titans, and with my semi-triggering, go to this hand here to see my previous video, and go to a very nice Spider-Verse over there side here to check out my shorts playlist, because I just dropped another, I believe, Critical Role reacts on last week's episode. I know they just had that one shot with Nordverse. I'm pretty sure the episode will be available soon. If not, I'll leave it in the description probably later. So that all being said, take care, subscribe. I am not the emissary of hell, Spider-Man, but I am Retrokid Review saying, please pick up this figure if you're at all mildly curious about this type of character. I'm almost certain he's going to show up in Across the Spider-Verse coming next year. So with that all being said, take care, and here's the emissary of hell, and I will take on the Iron Kosobe! It's a weird figure and a weird guy, but worth a watch if anything.